All right, this is future Jamie. The mic on this scene wasn't working for the video that we're about to see here. All I really gotta say is like, subscribe if you like this kind of content. Down below there will be a FlipAlert link for a free trial. Also part of the buy box, where we do coaching, training, and have a growing, thriving Amazon and Walmart community. Stock checkers and all that good stuff. I will leave it there. There'll be some cuts and edits that have to be done, but I'm not going to redo a full 30-minute video. So with that being said, let's take you back to the video. Let's go per normal. You'll see me do this pretty much every video. If you've watched any of the rest of them, let's go look back through my tracks. This is my past self setting things up to potentially find things that maybe I missed, or maybe things that I wanted to just track in case see what's going on. And for like this one, I can tell right now it's not good. It's going to get rid of it. Then I like to, when I have tracks in here, I go through like the last day. I don't know what I was doing with this one, honestly. I'm just going to delete it. Sometimes my past self made some weird decisions, but let's take a look at this real quick. It was a long time ago, way back in way back, 23, 2 years ago. So that doesn't make sense. We're just going to close this up. We've already looked at this one multiple times. This is probably not going to do nearly as well with all those drops. I'm willing to bet if we look at this is probably the stereotypical graph you don't want to see. Not horrible, but we had 47 offers, 60 some, and Amazon, and we're just cruising here now. It's just basically drop. So we're going to think we bought a few of these. This might be a potential L right here, if I'm being perfectly honest, but we'll see. Don't need to watch that one anymore. The Rockport, same idea. And then we're a day back. I go a day because I'm looking at my flips usually a couple times a day. So we will go back about a day, and I'll check this for the sake of argument. This was in stock not too terribly long ago, but I think it went back out of stock. Yeah, if you can find this, that'll track. It's good money if you can get it at the $9.99 range. Make it like $9 right there. Once I'm done there, I will check my FlipAlert alerts here as well. So I will check FlipAlert, and so FlipAlert, I'll go through and see. These are just another way to track things, kind of like Keepa tracks, except they're much faster and they come to your Discord instead, or your notifications. And unfortunately, sometimes it gets duplicates and all that. Seeing this, I'm going to try to set status off, and sometimes you get in there. I just redo it. There we go. So I don't see, so I can maybe stop getting spammed of the same exact ones. Look at the Yeti. So that once again, this is my past self doing work to hopefully maybe find something that makes sense. So we did maybe it was sitting over here. Amazon came in at 32 is my guess. They came in somewhere at 32, 34. I'm not sure why this pinged off. Okay, no big deal. It happens. Same with Keepa. Sometimes it happens. This one, so it must have came in. No, I'm not sure either. Doesn't show anything right here. Huh. Sometimes some false positives hit, and that's okay. Just looking here. Was there anything here? Yeah, here or if I would have caught this earlier today, 15 to 30 something. Yeah, that would have been fine. So that's cool. So once I get through all those, my next step, I'm just checking real quick here. Got a new message. Just looking. So this is the buy box. I want to make sure I wasn't missing anything. So we had a raffle that went on, took place. That's cool. Let's get back to FlipAlert. So for anyone that's new to FlipAlert, you have tasks. Tasks are basically how you can filter things. I mean, if you want a minimum profit, a minimum ROI, minimum maximum ROI, if you just want to see Amazon, if you want to see Amazon and other FBA sellers, all that stuff is possible. So couple things. Once you have those tasks up, then you'll have a price drop area, right? So you can see potential price drops, and you can see over on the right. I'm pointing the wrong way because I'm reverse over. I can't do it right. Oh well, you get the idea. Over there, you can see the Keepa graph that's showing up. So then we can kind of, without having to open things up, we could take a look, oh, this shoe might make sense, and then we can open it up and we take a look at it. My general philosophy with a lot of this, we're restricted, so it's not good, but my general philosophy is if I'm questioning it, I'm just going to open it up. Specifically when you have plenty of headroom on your computer, RAM, CPU, all that stuff. Just open the tabs up. If you're limited on because you have an older computer or a RAM or something like that, then obviously you can't open as many at a time, but I would still open them up. So for me, lately I've been experimenting with using product finder. So this, what I'm going to do, see all categories. This is going to be way too many. And unless you want like super loose filters, I wouldn't set it like this. But I want to get a bunch of stuff. Since this is my first look at for the day, I'm okay weeding through more crap to see more stuff. Setting this here. And we're going to go to this here. There we go. So I'm setting a super duper loose filter just so I get a lot of stuff. Typically I don't set it this loose except for like my first run of the day. And then I'm opening it up. I have no rank filtering. I have just basic dollar, like profit minimum $3.20, just so I get more data coming in here. And a lot of the stuff just won't make sense, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. But I would rather see it and take a look at it than not see it. And for some people, if you don't have a ton of time to go through something like this, you set your filters a little tighter, you will miss some things that maybe a guy like me that's willing to go through and do this. But if time is tight, you can set those filters a little tighter. You just might miss out on some things. And all I'm doing at this point is literally just going through and running through all the stuff. Just got a random column. By what I mean by going through is I'm hovering over this. So a couple of things I'm looking is like, I'm trying to identify, could this potentially be like a PL product, and a lot of them like are very keyword smashed into the title. Like it's like 2.7-inch kettle, blah, 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 versus Act 3 butter, right? Like kettle corn. This would, usually the brands will have their brand in it, and then they'll talk about it a little bit, but they won't smash keywords too horribly in there. So take a look at this. Let's look at this. We know this one's no good. How do you say this, FOCO? So we'll keep running down. And we're going to repeat this process until I think I last looked at my FlipAlert at Flips yesterday about 4 p.m. So we're at 11 something a.m. and I'm just going to run through a bunch of these. And let's go look at some of these real quick. Because the reality is I know most of you guys, based on what YouTube's telling me, is you're here for 7 to 10 minutes. So let's look at a couple of these before you guys click off. And this might not be for you, and that's okay. So first thing, if right now looks like, let me just pop this down. Let's take a look. So Amazon was in at $11.99, $11.99. Not the greatest return. I'm still going to click this approve. Avengers has a $sign by you need 10 items. That's not so horrible. I'm starting to see a few more 10 versus like 100, which is fantastic news with this. So let's continue on. Wolverine Roll Rides on here. I see the brand here. You could also potentially see it if you went to data offers on Keepa and see that Wolverine's here, and that's the brand, so I just avoid it when I see them on there. Let's take a look at this. This is not going to be anywhere near cheap enough. You can tell that right now. Also, we'd have to anticipate that they would stay out of stock, and obviously Amazon's already starting to come back in stock again, so we're not going to worry by that. And what I mean by that, I've had a few people now mention that like my brain's running a million miles per hour. When I see this graph, I'm like, oh, Amazon's been in stock for a long time at 49. I would need them to be out of stock consistently to be able to trust that maybe we can get up into the $70 range. And even then, it may not make sense. And then when we zoom in further, we can see they're starting to come back in stock again. So like that doesn't give me much hope that they're going to stay out of stock. And this would be like a very, very high risk flip if the money even made sense at like, if it was, let's say 74 on 39. So this would be a high risk flip to make this money. If they come back in and we're stuck down here, we lose $12. Typically, I want to see a 3-to-1 ratio here. If I'm going to take this risk. So I would want to see a $36 profit for this to make sense. And this is something I directly, like, I didn't realize I was doing it, but when Saul pointed this out, Saul, he's the one that was in the flip challenge. He's also in the buy box ball. He's almost like one of the grandfathers of 888 flips right now. He pointed this out. It was a 3-to-1 ratio. I didn't realize I was doing that, but I was doing something very similar. We need to be approved for this. It's probably, it's gonna say it's a big brand. Right now, Amazon's going through a period of time where they're gating a lot of stuff in my best hypothesis is that there's a ton of counterfeits and issues going on, so they overreacted essentially. This is a very similar idea where it's $10.99 for a long time, and if we go back further, it's been that way for a long time, and they kind of just ran out, and then they came back in. Now, if they had been going in and out of stock for a while, I would consider it, but since they're not, and it's really high ranked, so it's not going to move very many. This would be a really high risk flip, and it's not worth it. We need to be approved for this again. Let's take a look. Really high rank, but I'm always just clicking trying to get approved. Even if I'm not going to buy it, I'm always clicking trying to get the approval. We did. This is way too high rank, so I'm not going to bother with it. You could make some money here, but I'm not going to bother with it. Some Under Armour. Very interesting. Very interesting that they were out of stock for a long period of time at 110, 156. If we had to assume, and they're way down at 68, that's very interesting to me. Too bad the rank's too high, so I'm not going to explore this anymore. The name of the game with this, especially even more so when I'm dealing with this kind of like filtering setup on the product finders I got to get through products. I could be here for hour or two just kind of nitpicking at things. I'm going to look at this one. I don't think I'm going to be able to sell the Grand Cortez anymore because that's like a current generation Adidas shoe. Nope. We're playing this game where we're just kind of back looking at things. And a lot of this, if I wanted to be a little more picky, I could just filter out like shoes and clothing. And that would make this a lot easier to go through. Or I could do this in two separate sections. One where I require more money for shoes and clothing and just do shoes and clothing if I'm even interested in doing that, which I've cut back a ton on. What is this? Nope. Or I could just exclude them in general and not do them. So we're just going to go Mattel Jurassic. I don't think that makes sense, but let's open it anyway. I think that's a similar situation looking at that Keepa graph where they were in stock for a long period of time, or Amazon was in stock, and then when it ran out of stock, came back in stock. Nope. So we're going through, and you can see just a ton of clothing. I don't mind clothing, but you need way more money. A lot of people don't realize that, like, the amount of returns you have to deal with. I don't think I can sell Ray-Bans. I'm going to open it up anyway. The amount of money that's required with returns, amount of returns, and the amount of money in returns that's required. So I've been selling a lot less. Maybe this is a little iffy. Looks kind of sus when I look at that graph. For me anyway. I'll look at this. I don't think I could sell this brand either. I've seen these almost every summer. This brand of glasses come out. Let's keep going. Easy Street, Sandal. I don't think there's enough money there either, but let's look, especially with like the ROI down here. Easy Street, maybe that one. Like I said, I don't love women's things, but women's like clothing, shoes. Just the return rate's much higher. But if the money's there, I'll deal with it. Nope. Let's keep going. I don't even know what this is. Let's just open this up. But yeah, this is literally the gist of it. You're going through and doing this, and the key with any of this is consistency. Just doing this over and over and over again to get good at it. And eventually what starts happening is you start seeing brands that you notice that you like. You start identifying like Keepa graphs that you like what they look like. I'll pop this open. I'm just trying to get through one more page here because we've only made it 2 hours in like the grand scheme of FlipAlert with it being this loose. I don't think that works. I'm going to open it just in case. And like I said, I open way more than I probably need to. But I would, like I said, I'd rather see it. It also gives me an opportunity to ungate more brands or re-ungate them. So like you're ungated and they're gating and just, yeah, it's a little bit of a mess with that right now. My hope is with the whole gating situations, they figure it out. It is a giant company, but they figure out what's going on. And then we can get a better picture of what Amazon's looking for and doing. Nope. 99, yeah, way too high rank. Prove. I don't think we're going to get for a big brand like that. And also there's no offers there. But let's see. I was wrong. That's why I always check. It's a perfect example why I check. I don't think this makes sense regardless. As an 18 pack, it is also like, I don't even know. 23, what was the pricing before? Like 49. Let's see here. Yeah, not enough money. You potentially could see if you could break this down into a bundle of sorts. I don't do a lot of that right now, if I'm being honest. Let's keep going. 28, we know 2840 doesn't work. Was this something that maybe if we got it, geez, 99 and 99 doesn't make sense? No, not really. I'm gonna still set an alert. Maybe the price goes up. I doubt it's going to, but I'm gonna set an alert in case the price goes up, or maybe it gets closer to quarter 4, and I think the price is gonna go up during that period for some reason. I'm just gonna set the alert so I see it. And it was like 105. I'm gonna set it a little bit higher. Reason for that is I want to see when this comes in. If this comes in at 93 something, and it's like 179 or 74. I can't type today, sorry, my apologies. 174. Let's do that. Maybe it makes it still doesn't make that much sense, and it's large bulky. Just kidding. This probably doesn't make sense. I'm still gonna set this just in case like the circumstances change, because it could get better. Oh, so this is like legit like some sort of Hoover thing. Probably not buying this, it's just too big. But you know what I'm gonna do? Still click to see if I can get it improved. Well, that's how I'm gonna drink a little coffee. No clue if I will ever buy anything from that brand, but let's do it anyway. My guess is the Now stores that brand, based on the fact they have 300 of them. Weird. Easy Street is now need to be proof for. Not enough money there. Still gonna go do this. Are they? Yeah, another brand that used to be. No, you need 100 of those. Interesting. Okay, so those are now down. Okay. So I can skip over that. This was that, yeah, that Costa, that's restricted. Warner, 10 on 13 or 16, not going to make sense. This was relatively interesting because you can see that like someone up here was selling it for higher. 22, if we had to sell it for 22 and we got it for 10.62, still losing $2, we'd have to. This one's kind of like iffy for me because like you would have to catch it up at like that $30-$40 range, and Amazon's now coming in stock and going in and out. If you could hold for a little bit, maybe you could sit up at 44 and like do okay. You might be able to do okay here, but this once again would be a little more risky. $15, and if they go back to let's even $16, you're losing 5 to potentially get it up at, what did I say, 44? 44, 15. So like maybe, I don't love it, but maybe. There's the Ray-Bans been restricted on. This was just some sort of dinosaur. They were up at $100. They were out. Now they're kind of going in and out. At $100, it's large standard. The question is, were they actually selling at 100? And we can see all the FBA sellers in this range as well. Like, you're not gonna, like, even if this shows you up like a third-party seller up here, I just am not. When I see this many sellers down at this price point, I'm not confident that this is going to sell at this price point or at the higher price point. I'm gonna peg this somewhere in like the 44 to 45. Even if Keepa over here shows me that like, hey, there's a possibility, but there's also a lot of drop down at 49, 48. They finally came down to here at 38, and topped with like it's selling decently now here, but before that the sales rank graph is still moving, but like you'd have to wait for this to sell through and then get, I don't even know, where would you have to go with this? I'm just curious now. If you go to 54, you're still, I don't think you're not even break even there yet, so you're gonna have to, all these people are gonna have to sell up. And Amazon's gonna have to be out and not be selling at this lower price. Like, it just seems like too much of a risk for that to happen. Don't be wrong, like they sell, you know, 300 a month. In theory, you could potentially buy everyone out and try to sell it higher, but then if Amazon comes back in again, you're kind of wrecked. And that's always the unknown of Amazon. So Adidas, I was correct. Grand 2s. I have no idea what this is. Amazon's in stock at 6. There's 622. What is this here? Cross stitch. Okay, so it's a cross stitch thing. It's more seasonal. Definitely not selling very fast. Doesn't sell very fast in general. You could potentially pick this up for $6.22 and try to get it sold in the $20 range. And they just understand that like you're only selling a couple of months. So like if you're doing this, you're picking up 1, 2, and this is taking months to sell. So make sure that like your cash flow is good. If you're going to start going into items like this, make sure that your sell-through rate is good. Make sure your IPI is good. If you're going to start doing this, would be something where I would seriously consider picking up 1 or 2 of these. And that, there's another, $17 in profit potential. Even if it's lower, we're at $13 profit potential. I'm okay if I'm getting these bigger numbers, taking more time. Basically, the longer time it takes for something to sell, the more money I need to see back. The shorter time it takes to sell, the less money to get back, because then you could reinvest that money and have it compound and make the same, if not more, than this product. It takes longer. Hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, leave a comment, question down below. Would much appreciate that. So let's keep going. We'll keep going for a little bit longer. Like I said, most of you guys, at least according to YouTube, click off at like under 10 minutes. So I think it's 7 or 8 minutes right now. So you guys get the general gist. Then maybe, hopefully you all are just going to actually do this. I don't think this works anymore either. I'm saying nope. And today really feels like one of those grinder days. Like you're just in it. You're in like the messy middle of like flipping, where like some days it's just fantastic. You find things right away and they're awesome. Other days you're just going through this and you just miss. And like it's very easy to get frustrated and not want to continue to go. But I can assure you, staying consistent every day is a big key to this. I don't think that makes sense. Look at that though. I don't think I can sell this brand anymore. No. And I'm only to like back to 8 a.m. I've only made it a couple hours back, which is kind of wild when you think about that. And like I said, a lot of this is just the clothing. Yeah, it's just a ton of clothing. So what I'm going to do for the sake of the video, we could keep going doing this. I'm going to change my filtering up, and I'm going to purposely watch what happens. For any of you that stuck around, like, you get rid of this one for right now and just apply. It's going to be, we're going to be able to zoom. We're already just on the first page. We're back to like 9 in the morning versus multiple pages. So if I'm going to kind of a lesson for myself here, which I mentioned, probably do one of these where it's just non-shoes, clothing, take a look at it and go through all of them there, and then go back through and set like a higher criteria that's needed for shoes and clothing to deal with returns, and see if any of that makes sense. Dremel, maybe. What Dr. Play said, maybe. It's one. A lot of these are like Amazon's been out of stock for a little while, and I wonder if that's like a tariff thing or like what exactly is going on. Let's look at Razor. Oh, this thing. I bought some of these wholesale and they were just horrible. Dude, the wholesaler like was pitching everyone on them, which makes sense why they pitched everyone on them. Don't want to look at it. Let's look at this one though. So this is 69 right now. 118 on 69. I mean, that's cool, but there's also, you look at 90, 180 day. So we have a few things going on here. We have to understand a few things with this one specifically, that if this goes to 69, what happens? So if we buy for 69 and we sell it for 69, what happens? We lose $18. So ideally, I'd want to make not even a 1-to-1 makes a ton of sense. I would want like a 3-to-1, so I'd need to make closer to $60 to feel real confident in this. Realistically, it's probably gonna set like $90 to $100-ish. Yeah, you can see 49. It's even gotten 74, drop down, and it's coming back up for a little bit here. I just don't feel particularly like confident. Are there any variations of these to look at? So here's yet another way to potentially find new stuff as well. We can take a look. Is it just the one variation, or did a bunch of them drop down? Oh, this one also has no ratings review, so I'm for sure passing on that one. Okay, just pass on this one. Wow, this is restricted. I used to be able to sell this. That's wild. I'm curious if I go back. Was it this one? Yeah, it was like here. It was like $40 some, and by the time you can see that one dude got the wholesaler got the jump on it and sold it to everyone. We went from 6 sellers to like 40, and it's taking that much time to get back down to that because, yeah, that was a horrible deal. Anyway, Dremel, this doesn't make sense. I'm surprised I can sell this still. Sometimes I get, anyway, nope, definitely doesn't make sense. Let's keep going. This one's not in stock. I started setting a track just for the sake of argument on this one. Not there though. Okay, let's look. 39 bucks. 39 on 68. We need more money specifically for how high ranked this is and how slow it slows. Plus, down here when we look at Keepa, it doesn't make a ton of sense. I don't know why we got back to this one again. Maybe I double clicked it. So 84 to like 129. Not enough money there. Nope. Restricted. 35. You notice how fast I'm getting through these two. Like, I'm not messing around. So we got to get through these. You just got to get through them. Not much going on there. Let's keep going. Interesting. And Puritan Pride is an option. What's this? No. I don't know idea what that is. Probably not a good buy if I'm being honest looking at it. Let's keep on going. I just had to check my camera real quick because FedEx is supposed to pick up my Walmart shipment, but saw the doorbell and it was actually Amazon, so we got that going. Let's keep going though. There's just not a lot here, man. And there's some days that happens like that. I know I'm gonna harp on this. Like, you gotta keep going. Set your feelings inside and keep putting the reps in. And even more so, and I've said this in previous videos, in the summertime. Definitely in the summertime, these things can be a little rougher. Look at that. Let's keep going. Oh, look at this. I've never sold a golf club. I've sold some bats, but not a golf club. Just keep going. Amazon Basics. Let's look at this. Let's look at this. Pull these open. Grill covers can be good in the summertime. I just don't know if there's enough money on here. I've sold something like this before. That's okay money. Actually, can we sell it? Drum roll. We may be able to sell it. Here we go. So we can indeed sell it. So it's not going to sell like a super fast, but it's going to sell. It's going to sell for a little bit. So like I would pick this up. It's actually absolutely something I'd pick up. Just pick up a couple, like 2, 3. Like that's the thing with flips. And there's 24 bucks. And keep in mind, like we are 30 minutes into here. Gonna make like $24-ish. And this is on a bad day. If I'm being real honest, this is not good. Like, let's look at this guy. All right, so this is interesting to me. If we look at this, we could make some money here. We do have to understand that, like, what happens if it comes back to here? This is, like, I'd say 69 is probably like our low end. If we have to sell this at like 69, and it's 55, 56 right now. 55, 56. 55.56. We're looking at negative amount. There is a business discounting that shows up over here, so we could potentially punch that in. And it looks like if we were to get 4 units, we get this down to 51.56. So we would lose 81 cents. If we could see here is okay, and obviously if we can get back to 93, even better. So like our risk reward makes sense here. We just have to understand that there is a chance in that this does just go back down. Like this could just suck and go down. You have to accept that risk, and if you can't accept that risk, this isn't the product for you. For me, I'm buying this all day. I'm probably buying the 4 to get the discount, and there's could be another 80. So 20, call it 24 and 80. There's $100 in a half hour. I would absolutely buy this. And we can even look at variations real quick here to make sure that they're still moving. I'm not going to buy like 30 of them, right? Because there is a chance they go to zero, but I'm definitely going to buy a few of these. And these are 86. Yep. So like they're not the main one, but they're still getting a fair amount, right? Like they're still doing okay. So I'm definitely definitely buying a few of these. Drops are like 53 a month. So like, yeah, if Amazon wasn't on here, I would consider buying more like 8 to 10, but with Amazon on here, like I'm only going to buy like 3, 4. I might, but like if you had more capital and cash flow, you could potentially risk this and buy more. But I would stick with my 4. So there's like, $100 right there. So there, like I said, yeah, $110 right there in a half hour in profit. The reality is you only need like 200 to $300 a day to replace like a $60K a year job in profit a day. So like if you can do that twice a day, even if it takes a long time, here's $200 right there. Obviously you still got like your FlipAlert and software and things like that. So you'd want a little bit more than that, but it gives you the idea. I don't know what this is exactly. Amazon's currently out of stock. Doesn't sell very many. Doesn't matter. Puritan's Pride. My suspicion is this is yep, it absolutely is. All right, let's keep going. Can we find anything else? And this is something I was found like overnight. 1:30 in the morning. If I didn't do this, I got 2 items right here. Like overnight, products just sit. Even sometimes in the middle of the day, products sit. I'm going to check through the rest of this page, and I will call the video here for you. Just because it's already 30 minutes, and hopefully by now you got the general gist. I'm going to look at this one. No, the watts doesn't make sense. Sometimes those watts, I've had a few of those that have actually made sense over time. Sometimes just based on brand, I'll click it open out of habit. Like if I recognize the brand, I'll click it just to look at it more. Nope. Care Bears, I'll look. I think I'm gated on those, but I'll look anyway. Nope. And we're already back to 11:24 p.m. Of course, let's look at this. Maybe unlikely, but let's look at it. So we're back to 9. So let's look at the last one of all these out of stock. Care Bear. I can actually sell this Care Bear. Interesting. So Amazon came in stock for a second here. 14. I'm going to set a track. Amazon FBA. What pricing do we need? Like $14.99. I'll set like 16 for now. Start tracking. Hopefully my future self will find that and it'll make sense. I think we looked at this brand a little bit ago and it doesn't work, but let's check it one more time to make sure because I'm losing my mind a little bit. Nope, nothing there. It's fine. It's fine. Watts, 65. I mean, 65 to 1. Nah, no. Because we'll come back here, 67. So this is what I would call a false drop where like it's cool, it looks like steady price. For some reason Amazon does this and then drops that price down. I don't know if it's I was wondering if it was to get this like 65, 78 to like slash through and be like, if that sort of thing. I don't know why they're doing that, honestly. Okay, we'll keep going, then we'll finish up. Interesting. 39. These were 19, like 19.98. Does that make any sense? I would look at that if I can get it. So we will, and I'm not putting too much, like I'm not checking too terribly much into these guys. Like, hey, I would like to look at this if it came back in stock in the future. LOL. I know there's one brand I can sell. Amazon was at $9.99. So like I'm going to set a task for this as well at like $11. Think same idea here. Already. Oh, never mind. I got it. So I double clicked. It showed up twice. Cool. Melissa and Doug. This is 23. Yeah, kind of risk. I'm still gonna try to get approved. Nope. So what I'm going to do off screen, since we are now 35 minutes in, I would finish going through this all the way back to about 4 p.m. We're at about 9:24. Once this is done, I would then go through and change my filters and throw my just clothing on if I wanted to. And then I'm going to be setting higher filters like $10 profit, like 30% ROI with like within like 100 to 150K. So I'm going to tighten that filter down for shoes and clothing because they get returns. Things don't fit people. No offense, women, y'all like return a crap ton of stuff. I'm going to duplicate this so you can see one other thing. And then once I'd be done with that, I would go through it, and it's been about a half hour and it's almost noon here. I would then go from noon back to about 11 a.m. and I would go through all my drops here as well. Like just going through all of this stuff, like, and seeing, do any of these make sense? Back to 11, which actually I recognize this about 11:24, so about a half hour or so. So I do all that, let this sit, go work on some other things, and then I would come back and check this in a couple hours. And then at that point, I have my drops. You could do Product Finder if you wanted to, same concept. And with Product Finder, where basically now you're just looking, you looked at noon. No, okay, you're coming back at 2 or 3. Okay, we're going 3. We want to go back to noon and kind of repeat that process and kind of comb through and then remember where you left off. All right, once again, back here at the tail end of it, Future Jamie here. Just like, subscribe. Sorry that cut off like that. I think I got all the technical stuff figured out, so we're good there. Like, subscribe, check out the buy box, check out FlipAlert. All the links are down below, and I will see you next time. Get out of here.